Hey guys, I'm down at the 12 unit. Came back to check on the building. That's where the coin laundry is for this building. And I've got this little shed here that I've filled with junk. I was actually coming back here just to figure out what I'm going to throw away so this thing's actually usable. But when I came in, there was water over the floor. I put that down to try to catch it. And the culprit is this right here on the water heater. This is a temperature and pressure relief valve. It's a safety device, so too much pressure, if it gets too hot, that this thing will let go and relieve that pressure to keep your water heater from blowing up. I know someone's going to tell me by code you need a pipe that goes all the way down to the floor, near the floor. This is just a shed. I'm the only one in here. It was actually on there before and I took it off as a piece of copper. Copper's so expensive, I took it off to use it to do repairs. But when these go bad, there's typically two culprits that I find. It's either this valve is going bad. This valve's only 2 years old, so I don't think that's the problem. And in our area, we have to use expansion tanks. And the way these work, there's a bladder inside here. So one side's just the water pressure, in my case, coming from the city. And the top side, this is filled with air. And it should be charged to the same pressure as your city water. So in my case, I've got 50 pounds. I just tested it here. And so this should have a 50-pound air charge. But what happens over time, these bladders will go bad and these just fill up with air. And if you look on top, there's a place, if you take that little cap off, that's just a standard valve like on your tire of your car. So you can hook a pressure gauge up to that, tire pressure gauge, and see, in this case, it's just going to squirt water. I can tell it's bad. I just do the thump test. You can hear that sound. That tells me that that expansion tank is bad. And what these are for, if you have a check valve anywhere in your system, let's say if there's not a check valve, you really don't need this, because when your water expands in your tank as it's been heated, it can expand back out to the city. But in my town, we have check valves in place, so it can't expand back to the city, and then this water heater builds up with too much pressure without this being able to give and reduce some of the pressure in the system. So to test your pressure, I get you one of these. This is just a standard garden hose hookup, so you can hook it up to a garden hose or to where your washer and dryer hooks up. I've also got an adapter here. This will hook to the hose. And this, if you take your aerator off your sink, you can hook this up to a kitchen sink and also test. So you need to test that to figure out what you need to charge this up to. So let's go look at the new tank. So this is the tank I bought. I got this at Lowe's. Nothing special about it. You can see on top, you can take this off and hook up just a regular tire pressure gauge to it. And you can see this came pre-charged at about 50 pounds, which is actually perfect. I tested my water pressure and it's 50 pounds. So that's perfect. In order to get this ready to go, we'll stand up. Stand up for me. Okay, it's not going to stand up. But I'm going to put some Teflon tape on here. And you always put Teflon tape on clockwise. So with this is thicker tape. I'm just going to put, I don't know, 3 or 4 wraps on it. If you got the thin white tape, you may want to do a couple more. And I always get it bunched up here. I don't know. All right, there we go. All right, that should be good. And then we'll hit it with a little thread compound. Pipe dope. You don't need to go super heavy on this. Just get some all around it. And so that is it for prepping the tank. Now if you do have to add charge, just use a standard, this is just a standard valve like you'd see on the tire of your car. So you can just use an air pump for a bicycle or something like that to pump it up. That's it for prep. Now let's go take the old one off and put this new one on. Oh, there it went. All right. Good times. Good times. And it's still full of water. These things are extremely heavy when they're full of water. Still on a pipe wrench. Alright, that should be good. Water back on. This is dry. This isn't leaking, but we're still getting a drip here. So we're going to have to replace this valve too. Just for giggles, let's test this old tank and make sure it was bad. Yeah, nothing. So this tank was bad, and we have a bad pressure relief valve, so we're going to replace that as well. It's just we could do it hot, but I'm going to actually drain it down. So I shut off the water. I've got the main back on, but I shut off the water going to the water heater. Got the hose hooked back up, and I want to drain her down. Open this guy back up. Let it suck some air. And she's draining. I was draining, I looked on my truck and I found there's really only two types of these. One's a long and one's a short that I know of. I don't know how you can tell just by looking at the one there if it's a long or a short, so I just try to carry both of them on the truck. Some plumber knows how to tell just by looking at them. I'd love to hear it, but yeah, we'll get this drain down, pop that one off, and put the new one in. Alright, I got this guy drained down, hopefully far enough. I didn't let it fully drain, but hopefully we pull this off without getting soaked and creating an even bigger mess than we have here. Not too worried about it, honestly, out in the shed. I can remove it pretty easily. Alright, that's what we got. Match this up the best we can. A little bit longer than this one. We're going to go with the long one. It already comes with Teflon tape on it, so we're just going to hit it with a little pipe dope here. Just as insurance, and lube it up a little bit. call that good enough. We don't have to tighten it to death. We can also tighten it up a little bit if it is leaking. So now I'm going to turn on the water, let it fill up, and then we'll let it heat up and come back and check it in a couple hours after the water's heated up and see if it's leaking. Alright guys, it's been a few hours. I brought a blower over here to try to dry this out a little bit. But up here, I put the date on there, no leaks. And down here, no drippies. So I think we're good to go here. Hopefully this video will help you guys out. If you're homeowners, DIY landlords, and will save you a bunch of money. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And thank you guys for watching.